Where was the word Gentiles first mentioned in the scriptures? Before people outside of Yasharal were called Gentiles, what terminology did the scriptures use to identify them? This video is for reference purposes only. I highly encourage everyone to read the scriptures for much better understanding. The word Gentiles in English comes from Hebrew and Greek terms found in the scriptures. To understand the true scriptural context, we must look at the original words used before the translation Gentiles. Where can we find the original term for the word Gentile as used in the Hebrew scriptures in the Torah, and where was it first mentioned? In the original Hebrew scriptures, Tanakh, the words later translated as Gentiles and nation come from the same root term, goy in singular and goyim in plural. The literal meaning of Gentile means nation, people, group, or community. In true scriptural context, the word goy does not originally mean non-Israelite. It simply refers to any nation or people group on the earth. The root word is goy, meaning nation or people. You can read the first appearance in Genesis 10 verse 5. From these, the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their clans, into their nations. The word goyim, a plural of goy, does not mean non-Israelites yet. It simply means nations or peoples descended from Noah. Genesis 10 verse 32. These were the clans of the sons of Noah, according to their generations, in their nations. And from these the nations were divided on the earth after the flood. At this point in Scripture, there is no Israel yet. There is no covenant people set apart yet. There is no Gentile vis Israel distinction yet. All humanity is one source, descended from Noah through Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Goyim simply means nations, peoples, or ethnic groups without any spiritual or covenant division. This is confirmed when the same word is used for Abraham and his seed. This means even Yasharal is called a goy. Genesis 12 verse 2, "And I shall make you a great nation, and bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing." Genesis 17 verse 4 to 5, "As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you shall become a father of many nations. And no longer is your name called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations." Genesis 18 verse 18, "Since Abraham is certainly going to become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him." This proves the word goy or nation is not exclusive to non-Israelites. Israel itself is called a goy. This shows clearly, goy simply means nation, not automatically foreign or unclean. This also proves that the word goy is not exclusive to non-Israelites. Israel itself is called a goy. How Gentiles became other nations after Yahweh set apart Yasharal. Exodus 19 verse 5 to 6. "And now, if you diligently obey my voice, and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set-apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Yasharal." Deuteronomy 4 verse 6 to 7. "And you shall guard and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the peoples who hear all these laws, and they shall say, only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. For what great nation is there which has Elohim so near to it as Yahuwah our Elohim is to us, whenever we call on him?" So in original Torah context, goy means any nation, including Israel. The shift in meaning happens only after Yahweh sets apart a people through covenant. Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, "For you are a set-apart people to Yahuwah your Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples on the face of the earth." At this point, a distinction begins. Not by blood alone, but by covenant law and obedience. Now goyim can be used in contrast to Israel, not because the word changed, but because context introduced separation. Psalm 147 verse 19 to 20, "Declaring his word to Jacob, his laws and his right rulings to Yasharal. He has not done so with any nation, and they have not known his right rulings, praise Yah." Goyim refers to nations without the Torah, not a different species of people, but those outside the covenant order. You can read the key foundation truth in Genesis 1 verse 26 to 27, "And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all the creeping creatures that creep on the ground. And Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Genesis 9 verse 19. These three were the sons of Noah, and all the earth was overspread from them. Acts 17 verse 26. And he has made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, having ordained beforehand the times and the boundaries of their dwelling. This confirms that Goyim or nation are not outsiders by creation. They are part of the same human family. So why did people later think Goyim is a non-Israelites only? Because of covenant distinction and not original meaning. Numbers 23 verse 9. For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I observe him. Look, a people dwelling alone, not reckoning itself among the nations. This does not mean Israel is not a Goy. It means Israel is set apart in function and purpose. The true scriptural order is all humanity came from Goyim, a nations came from Noah. Yahweh chooses Israel from among the Goyim. Israel is still a Goy, but a set-apart one. Other Goyim are not rejected by creation, only outside covenant. Isaiah 56 verse 6-7. Also the sons of the foreigner who join themselves to Yahuwah to serve him and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, all who guard the Sabbath and not profane it, and are holding on to my covenant. Them I shall bring to my set-apart mountain, and let them rejoice in my house of prayer. Their ascending offerings and their slaughterings are accepted on my slaughter place, for my house is called a house of prayer for all the peoples. Zechariah 2 verse 11. And many nations shall be joined to Yahuwah in that day, and they shall become my people. And I shall dwell in your midst, and you shall know that Yahuwah of hosts has sent me to you. This reveals that Goyim are not permanently separate. They can join, turn, and become part of the covenant. Goyim does not mean non-Israelites by definition. It means nations by creation. The idea of Gentile as a permanent outsider is a later interpretive development based on covenant status, not the original Torah language. In the beginning, there was only humanity divided into nations. Not saved against unsaved, not Israel against Gentile. Only later, separation came through obedience, covenant, and Torah. That is the true scriptural context. From this point, a distinction formed. Yasharal, a set-apart people, and the other nations are Goyim. So Goyim begins to be used contextually as nations outside the covenant. Other Hebrew terms used as Nokri means foreigner. It also means stranger. Deuteronomy 17 verse 15. You shall certainly set a sovereign over you, whom Yahuwah your Elohim shall choose. Set a sovereign over you from among your brothers. You are not allowed to set a foreigner over you who is not your brother, meaning someone not of your people or not in covenant. Then the Hebrew term, zar, means outsider. It also means strangers. Exodus 30 verse 33. Whoever compounds any like it, or whoever puts any of it on an outsider or stranger, shall be cut off from his people. Often used for someone outside the authorized or set-apart role. The Hebrew term ger means sojourner. It also means strangers living among Yasharal. Exodus 12 verse 49. There is one Torah for the native born and for the stranger who sojourns among you. The important distinction of a ger can join and follow the covenant. In Greek New Testament or Brit Hadasha, the word translated Gentiles is ethnos, refers to the nation or group of people. Matthew 28 verse 19. Therefore go and make taught ones of all the nations, immersing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the set-apart Spirit. Go and make disciples of all nations, or ethnos in Greek. This is the same idea as Goyim in Hebrew term. Before Gentiles became a religious term, the scriptures used Goy or Goyim refers to the nations or any people, including Yasharal. Nokri means foreigner outside the people. Zar means stranger or outsider. And ger means sojourner or foreigner who can join the covenant. Gentiles is a later English translation that generally refers to nations outside the covenant people of Yasharal. But originally it simply meant nations, not a negative or excluded group by default. You can read the deeper context in Isaiah 49 verse 6, and he says, Shall it be a small matter for you to be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Yaakov, and to bring back the preserved ones of Yasharal? And I shall give you as a light to the nations, to be my deliverance to the ends of the earth. The purpose of this is not about rejection, but to bring the nations into the light of Yahuwah. When you say Gentiles, this means nations. Distinction is not about race, it is about covenant alignment with Yahuwah. From the beginning, the nations existed, but Yahuwah set apart. One people to be a light to all nations. For clarity, we need to go deeper. We must separate three things that have been confused over time. Words Goy, Nokri, Ger, Zar Covenant status in or out of Yahuwah's agreement and identity. This is about birth versus obedience. What is deeper scriptural foundation before Moshe and Torah given? Genesis 17 verse 4 to 5. As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you shall become a father of many nations. And no longer is your name called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations. Abraham is not only father of one people, but many nations. Genesis 17 verse 12 to 13. And a son of 8 days is circumcised by you, every male child in your generations. He who is born in your house or bought with silver from any foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house, and he who is bought with your silver, has to be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh, for an everlasting covenant. Even before Sinai, strangers or non-blood descendants can enter the covenant through a sign and obedience. This destroys the idea that only bloodline defines Yasharal. Mixed multitude leaving Mitzrayim, also known as Egypt. Exodus 12 verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up with them too, also flocks and herds, very much livestock. People not naturally born into Yasharal left Egypt and joined them. They were not called Yasharal by birth, but they were not excluded from walking with Yahuwah. This is the covenant access for strangers. Numbers 15 verse 14 to 16. And when a stranger sojourns with you, or whoever is among you throughout your generations, and would make an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah as you do, so he does. One law is for you of the assembly, and for the stranger who sojourns with you, a law forever throughout your generations. As you are, so is the stranger before Yahuwah. There is no two Torahs, no separate standard. The stranger who joins must walk the same path. Leviticus 24 verse 22. And they put him under guard, that it might be declared to them at the mouth of Yahuwah. This is a foundational truth many ignore. The strangers can fully joining Yahuwah. Isaiah 56 verse 3 to 7. And let not the son of the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah has certainly separated me from his people, nor let the eunuch say, Look, I am a dry tree. For thus said to Yahuwah, to the eunuchs who guard my Sabbaths, and have chosen what pleases me, and are holding on to my covenant. This passage cleared that the stranger is not rejected. If he holds the covenant, he is accepted. Examples of non-natural Israelites joining is Rahab Jericho in Joshua 6 verse 25. However, Yehoshua kept alive Rahab the whore, and her father's household, and all that she had. And she dwelt in the midst of Yasharal to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Yehoshua sent to spy out Jericho. A foreign woman who joined and was preserved. Another example is also a woman named Ruth from a Moabite that mentioned in Ruth 1 verse 16. But Ruth said, Do not urge me to leave you, or to go back from following after you. For wherever you go, I go, and wherever you stop over, I stop over. Your people is my people, and your Elohim is my Elohim. She entered and became part of the line leading to the Messiah. Why some today claim no Gentiles joining Yasharal exist before Yahushua Messiah walked in earth. This idea comes from misunderstanding and overcorrection. Why many people have confusion of the word Goy. Since Yasharal is also called Goy, some claim all Goyim are just Israel only. This ignores context where Goyim clearly refers to other nations. Psalm 79 verse 1. O Elohim, the nations have come into your inheritance. They have defiled your set-apart Hakal or temple. They turned Jerusalem into ruins. These are foreign invaders, not Yasharal. This are usually the reaction against man-made religion. Many see false doctrines and then swing too far. They deny any distinction between Yasharal and other nations, but Scripture shows both, distinction and invitation. The confusion between blood Yasharal and covenant Israel. Ezekiel 47 verse 22 to 23. And it shall be that you divide it by lot as an inheritance for yourselves, and for the strangers who sojourn in your midst and who bear children among you. And they shall be to you as native born among the children of Yasharal. With you they have an inheritance in the midst of the tribes of Yasharal, and it shall be that in whatever tribe the stranger sojourns, there you give him his inheritance, declares the Master Yahuwah. This is massive. Strangers can become as native born not by blood, but by dwelling in alignment, ignoring the cutting off and grafting in pattern. Deuteronomy 23 verse 3 to 8. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter the assembly of Yahuwah, even a 10th generation of them shall not ever enter the assembly of Yahuwah, because they did not meet you with bread and water on the way when you came out of Mitzrayim, and because they hired against you Balaam son of Beor from Pethor of Aram Naharayim to curse you. But Yahuwah your Elohim refused to listen to Balaam, and Yahuwah your Elohim turned the curse into a blessing for you, because Yahuwah your Elohim loves you. Do not seek their peace nor their good all your days forever. Do not loathe an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not loathe a Mitzrian, because you were a stranger in his land. The children of the 3rd generation born to them do enter the assembly of Yahuwah. Some nations restricted for a time, others allowed entry after generations. This shows that identity can change over time through alignment. What is deeper truth about Gentiles? The scriptures never teach a permanent class called Gentiles who can never join. Instead, there are only 2 states: outside the covenant or joined to the covenant. Isaiah 14 verse 1. Because Yahuwah has compassion on Yaakov, and shall again choose Yasharal, and give them rest in their own land. And the stranger shall join them, and they shall cling to the house of Yaakov. Zechariah 2 verse 11. And many nations shall be joined to Yahuwah in that day, and they shall become my people, and I shall dwell in your midst. And you shall know that Yahuwah of hosts has sent me to you. The plan was always inclusion through obedience. Gentile is not a permanent identity. It is a temporary condition of being outside the covenant. A person can move from Goyer nation to Ger or sojourner to be part of Yasharal. Why this caused the confusion in today's generation? Because many focus only on bloodline, ignore covenant requirements, or react against false doctrine without balance. From the beginning, Yahuwah created many nations. He set apart one people. But he never closed the door to other nation. The door has always been obedience, covenant, and alignment with his ways. Gentiles existed as nations outside, but they could join through covenant. They could become as Yasharal through obedience. This is the true scriptural pattern from the beginning. Thank you for watching, and see you on my next video. May Yahuwah baruch us and guides us. Shalom, and have a great Yom.